Awesome. Hi, everyone. Welcome to our live stream. Let's give it a bit for a few people to join in, and we will start shortly. To everyone who is rolling in, welcome to Product People's product community. You'll notice on the screen we have a QR code ready and also a link to slido.com with the code right there on the screen. Please feel free to scan it or head to the link, enter the code, and we'll be using this to take questions as well as start our initial prompt. So feel free to jump in, and I'll give everybody a bit to join us here. Okay. So a quick prompt while everybody is joining in. Had a quick question for the audience here. What's the one thing you order way too often? Please drop it in the chat below, and would love to hear your answers. So as people are dropping that into the chat, I know I order way too much, way too often, but we can get started here as well. Thank you everyone for joining. My name is Laisa. I'll be your host today, and today we have a very exciting topic. I'm sure everyone here has ordered something online, as I mentioned before, and has had it arrive in minutes, but have you ever about the magic, how to make all of that work? Well, it was just your luck because that's exactly what we'll be talking about today. However, before we jump in, a quick intro about me. So I am, like as I mentioned before, I am a product management consultant here at Product People, and I have several years of experience in product management across B2B and B2C industries. But I will say my favorite part about working at Product People is the breadth of product domains we get to touch and working with all the clients all over the world on very innovative products, much like the ones we'll be hearing about today. So, a few little notes about Product People for those who are first being introduced right here on this call. We are a interim product management consultancy, and we work with a full team of product management consultants that help with product operations, transformation acceleration services, you name it, via our in-house staff. And on the other hand of what we do is we give back to the community of product spaces just like this event, by hosting free events and talks with our 60,000 plus members in our PM community across Europe and beyond. That's a bit of how we give back to the product community. However, before we get into today's exciting topic, I want everybody to jump into the Slido, whether it's through scanning the QR code or going onto the link, and we want to get to know you a bit. Our first question here is, if you were a PM for a quick commerce app operating in 65 countries, what do you think would be your biggest headache? Please drop your answer or what you think into the Slido below. Very excited to hear what you all think. So once again, to answer, please open the Slido, enter the number you see on the screen, or you could also scan our QR code. And for all those watching on all other platforms, feel free to share your answers in the comments. Okay, awesome. So I know the answer I'm leaning towards, but excited to see what you guys have to say. Uh, this is more in line with what I've been thinking as well. Um, about 75% of you answered A, getting real time stock data from thousands of different vendors. It's changing a bit more. I see we're still strongly leaning on A here. So yeah, couldn't have said it better myself. But feel free to keep this conversation going in the poll. But without further ado, I'd like to give the warmest welcome to our speaker for today. Would like to give a warm welcome to Abo to share his insights on product management at the speed of quick commerce. Welcome, Abo. So nice to have you join us today, and I'll kick it right off to you.
Sorry, thanks, Lisa. I hope everybody is doing great so far, and happy to be here and happy to have you all here. So I'm seeing that still lots of answers is coming through the Slido, and I will get to them a bit later. But I want to walk you through the whole journey of being a product management, being a product manager in quick commerce in Delivery Hero. So from the answers that we got earlier in the chat, what you guys are already often ordering, I'm seeing some food, some items, some groceries, and so on, which is really connecting to what I want to mention about quick commerce. But before jumping to that, let me give you a bit of introduction about myself. So my name is Abul Faz, but you can call me Abo. I started in electrical engineering and robotics, mechatronics, and so on. And I started to co-founding two startups. And that was the moment that I started to transitioning to product management. It was about 8, 9 years ago that I started my journey actually in product management in e-commerce and quick commerce. And now I'm a principal product manager for quick commerce at Delivery Hero. And today I want to walk you through the journey of product management in quick commerce in Delivery Hero. So we spoke too much about quick commerce. What is the difference of quick commerce versus the classic food delivery? So let's consider groceries as an example. So when it comes to ordering some food, you have to choose your beloved food from a flat menu from different restaurants around you. So you're basically dealing with hundreds or dozens of items within the flat menus across different restaurants around you. And those menus are not changing so often. And on the other side, if you're comparing it only and only to groceries, in supermarket that they are all around you. Imagine that you're talking about a big Edeka, a big Carrefour, a big Kaufland, and so on. You are seeing thousands of products, tens of thousands of products that they are getting updated, they are getting refreshed every hour. And we have to maintain them updated and fresh to be shown to our customers in every business that we are dealing with. Speaking of the different businesses, we have different type of the businesses that we will get into, but the most important factor is here that we have to make sure that we are showing the most refreshed and update sets of assortment, like tens of thousands of products for each vendor in each country, in each city around the world, to the customers and making sure that we are delivering them to them within the minutes. So you're ordering something and you're seeing the pop up at your doorstep, but what is actually happening behind the scene? So I want to walk you through the behind the scene and show you the backstage here. So moving forward, I mentioned that we have different type of businesses. And one of the main businesses that we are dealing with and they are online and people can order from are our dark stores, or we call it D-marts. D-marts are the supermarkets that owns by Delivery Hero. In different country, in different brands, we have around 800 of them in about 65 countries around the world. So it's a chain of huge supermarket, but with no customers inside. There is no customer walking in the aisles. There's no customers at the checkout because there's no checkout. So these supermarkets are optimized for pickers that they are working against the clock. These shelves, as you see in this picture, they're optimized to pick the items that is being ordered by customers and pickers are picking them. So we are maintaining the whole space, whole shelf, and so on for the customers that are ordered to get their order right on time, and pickers could pick them as fast as possible. So imagine that you are a product manager that are responsible for our DMarts. So you should be able to handle the products that are leading to our forecasting, to our supply management, to our picking performance, and so on and so forth. So since we are owning the whole chain of supply, just give you as an example, if you as a product manager, you're dealing with forecasting and your forecasting is too low and the demand is so high. So you will end up with an empty shelf with no product, but with a high demand. And then you're losing sales, you're losing trust, because we actually want to have the highest choice available for our customers. And that means we have to have a proper forecast. On the other side, if you forecast too much, there will be lots of waste, lots of products that needs to go out, and they're basically waste of money. But there's a question, is this the only sort of business that we are dealing with in our quick commerce? The answer is no. It's a spectrum of businesses. DMarts are on the left side of this spectrum, and our long tailors, who are like very, very small shops around the corner, like butcheries, bakeries, flower shops, those teeny tiny shops that you see in your neighborhood, they are the long tailor that we are dealing with. And they are on the opposite side of this DMarts. There are no tech savvy people mostly there. They don't have structured data to provide for us. They don't have usually the proper information about their product to be shared to customers within the standards that we own. On the other side, DMarts, as we own everything, we have a clean, structured data, so it's easier for us to handle and onboard products and maintain the experience of the customers. In between, we have big chains like Carrefour, Redeka, Eve, Reve, Edeka, and so on, that they are all big chains and they are having tens of thousands of assortment, and they are sending us their data through the API connection. They are kind of structured, but again, we don't or we can't expect them to be as clean or as structured as we do with our own data. On the other side, corner shops like drugstores or some other shops like pet shops, they're also having some capability of providing some product information, but still we have to bring them some self-service capability to just be able to get whatever they are selling, to match the offline parity with what we are bringing to our online applications. There is the same goal here. We need to get that store online and keep selling. But we need to maintain customers' experience while they are moving from a DMart to big chain to a corner shop or a long tailor. They should barely sense the difference. It's our job to make those assortments available for them, make those assortments online with a proper experience, proper standard, And that's the problem that we have to solve on a global scale. Let me show you how does it look like in one of our brands. This is Talabat application. Talabat is one of our brands in Middle East. It's available in Emirates, in Kuwait, in Bahrain, in Egypt, and so on. So on the left side of this spectrum, you see a DMart. I'm browsing through the DMarts, through the categories. I'm showing you some of the items in different categories, and you can see some of those items. On the other side, you see the big chain. I'm browsing to one of the big chains. I'm going through the juice category. I'm looking into snacks, some deals, and so on, like ice creams and so on. So again, the experience is more or less the same as what we had with DMart. Same with corner shops. Again, this is a beauty shop. I'm browsing in it. There's some category which basically looks like almost the same, depending on the sets of assortment that is available in that shop. And again, with the long tail shop, which they are not even tech savvy, they're just having a mobile phone, they're taking a picture, they're just sending us, hey, this is a croissant. And it's on us to categorize this. It's on us to have a proper standardized image and title to make it browsable for our customers. So you see here, we are dealing with the huge diversity of vendors, not only across one city and one country, across the world, from East Asia to South America. We are having different vendor, different sets of assortment, and millions of products going on and off. They're switching on and off, new products coming in, going out. So we have to make sure that we are keeping them fresh and available in few seconds and minutes for our customers. Speaking of huge diversity that we are dealing with, what is the challenge that a product manager could have within QC ecosystem with a huge diverse spectrum of businesses, spectrum of opportunities, spectrum of problems to solve, and how does these challenges affect your product management day to day? So here I shortlisted like very few of them. If some of our colleagues were here, they could list way more challenges here. But I'm listing here some of our top challenges that we are dealing with when it comes to product management in a huge, diverse realm that we are dealing with. The most important one, which you're also dealing with in each and every business, is prioritization. We have to be able to prioritize this across this spectrum and see, like, should we prioritize it for our internal people, for our DMarts, for big chains, for smaller shops, because they are like having different type of assortment. On the other side, the big chains and DMarts, they are providing fast moving items. So for which one should we prioritize? On the other side, when it comes to this huge scale of diversity, we should think of automation, and we should have automation. If we don't have any kind of automation, there is no manual manpower that can handle huge sets of assortment across the world. We are talking about millions of assortments, so no one can handle them day to day if there is no automation. And this automation should be in a way that it doesn't break the trust of the customer. We should not, let's say, rely solely on automation. On the other side, as I show you in the previous slide, we had a standard way of showing assortment, showing products, showing the categorization to our customers without actually forcing any unification, without forcing each and every vendor to send us a clean, flat image with a white background or with no background, with a standardized title we just want to consume. No, it's not the real world case. We are just consuming whatever we get from vendors, and it's on us to purify it with whatever vendors are sending us. And again, we are talking about global scale versus local challenges. We have different challenges when it comes to different markets. As an example, in some of the countries or some of the cities even, we have some regularity of showing or selling some items, or some items are restricted in one country. In another country, this is very typical to sell some items in the same way. But on the other side, in another country, you just need to blur the image. So there are many different cases. The question is that should we optimize for those local challenges or for global scale? Like we just go ahead and say that, okay, this is a global solution and whatever else is left, it's a local challenge. They have to deal with it locally, or we just go for all the local cases that is possible. The other challenge, which is about coverage, you remember that I mentioned that we are aiming for the higher choice for our customers in quick commerce, from groceries to health and beauty to retail, fashion. In each country, we are providing different sets of assortments. So should we aim for only quality and just let very high quality product information to show online, or should we balance it with the coverage of what we need to show? And the one most important thing is managing the dependency. The dependency matrix in our business at a global scale is huge. The dependency between the team sits next to you till another team that sits thousands of kilometers away from you, because you are optimizing something for that team to be shown in their platform, is something that you need to handle as a product manager. So one of the challenges and crucial point for you as a product manager in Delivery Hero, in quick commerce, is to be able to overcome this dependency and be able to handle this dependency across teams, tribes, domains, and brands. Because we are talking about Food Panda in East Asia till Pedidocia in Latin America. So there are huge number of teams and people that are working towards same direction, so you need to handle the dependency between them. So with saying that, there is a question: how do we survive as a product manager in this diverse realm? How do we do the product management day to day in this global scale? So if I want to keep this part a bit short and just share you some real example afterward, first of all, you need to frame the problem. You need to understand what is the actual problem. I know that most of you guys that are hearing this, you are product managers and you're already dealing with lots of problems. And most of the times you're hearing this: hey, let's integrate this, let's implement that, let's add this, let's remove that. So all of these things, all of these actions that I just mentioned, they're solutions. And they should not come at the beginning of your journey. The beginning of your journey is always and always and always should be about framing the problem. You should actually pointing to the real pain with the data before any solution. You can have no solution, but you should have the problem. And of course, when it comes to this global scale and this huge diversity that we are dealing in Delivery Hero across many countries, we will face not only one problem, many problems at the same time. So it's your job as a product manager to be able to size each and every problem, to cut whatever is not bringing huge impact, and to be able to focus on the actual problem that actually matters. And you need to focus on the outcome over output. This is very important. And you need to be hands-on with data. You need to be able to be self-dependent on extracting the signals that you need, and you need to keep your hypothesis and metrics set from day zero and prove it at the end. Again, you need to evaluate and validate your hypothesis and put your potential solution with the target audience. Your audience, sometimes it could be internal people like our internal teams, or it could be our partners or our customers. Here in Delivery Hero, we are dealing with millions of people around the world that they could have different intention when they are coming and dealing with brands from Delivery Hero. Some of them, they are our partners. Some of them, they are our riders. Some of them, they are our customers. So you need to be very, very specific that for who and why you are doing the optimization. And you need to validate that with them. So far, we were just defining the problem and we are validating the potential solutions. We haven't built anything yet. So for those who in product management think that we have to build things, we have to constantly build. No, it's not the case. We have to make sure that we are pointing to the right problem. We are exploring the main opportunity that it brings us the most value, and we validate it with a proper target audience. And then we go for delivery. Yes, we are piloting it, we are testing it with a certain market, certain users, we are slicing it, we are doing the benchmark, and then we are scaling it, and then this part is done, but not done. When we are talking about this part, it's a loop. You need to close this loop and you need to actually learn from that. You need to prove that it worked. So then you need to decide and put it as a baseline or building block, as a Lego piece for your next move. So that's why sometimes you need to learn from what you've done. Sometimes you need to pivot. Sometimes your hypothesis was not properly set and your metric was not properly set. It could happen to any of us. So you should not be ashamed of it. You should not be scared of it. You need to pivot, and you need to pivot fast, or even you need to stop. We had some topics that we learned that we are not bringing that much of impact, and we stopped or we pivot. This is very, very normal thing that we pivot or stop on something because we actually learned something. That is a framework that we are doing product management here in Quick Commerce in Delivery Hero. And actually it worked for us in each and every teams that we have, from our content team to our assortment team to our DMart team to our shops team to our affordability team. It works for each and every problem that we are dealing at the global scale. But on the other side, if we are talking about too many problems, too many topics to deal with, you as a product manager, you will be overwhelmed. So you need to have something to sharpen your edges with and be able to actually look in the dark through the actual signals that you're dealing with. So how do we use AI? This is a hot potato that everybody these days are talking about. Hey, AI is helping me to do this, to do that. But what actually helped us in this framework? So as I mentioned, we are working on a global scale, and here we have lots of signals, lots of feedbacks, lots of requests, lots of voices in the room, lots of requests coming from one brand to another, one market to another. But we need to combine them together, and we have to remove the noises, and we actually need to find the most important signal. And we need to size that signal. Yes, I mentioned that you as a product manager, you should be hands-on with data, but not all of the product managers are able to dig into the data, check all the metrics, all the tables, every possible combination of the data. Yes, it's okay. But with AI, you have a tool to do it for you. So you need to be able to dig into the data and let the AI to do the heavy lifting for you at each stage. AI is, again, doing the heavy lifting for you, not deciding. You as a human, you have to decide, and you have to evaluate things, meaning that, as an example, when we are betting on something or when we want to prioritize something, with help of AI, we can simulate and we can see what if we increase that metric, can it help with the other metric or vice versa? And we can evaluate and try to prototype fast. And as soon as we prototype fast, we would be able to kill bad ideas early, and we will mitigate the risk of building something that might not work way lower. So again, AI is helping you to do the heavy lifting, but not the decision. Still, judgment is on you as a product manager. And again, you need to feed in the result and turn those raw data that you're getting into a new sets of insight to your next move. And you need to be able to dynamically address the next problem, because you are always having a problem to solve at this scale. So let me give you an actual example of what we've done to make the browsing exactly feel like you're walking into a grocery store, like when you're going to Carrefour or Reve or any other store. So if you go to any big supermarket, you will see that, first of all, you will reach fresh and fruits. Like you will see some fruits, then vegetables, some dairy, bakery, and so on. So in the back of your mind, you know that the fresh stuff are at the beginning of the store. So you have them early at the entrance. So we try to mimic this in our way of categorization. But, first, is it the right problem to solve or not? Because we have to see that actually, does it work to solve this problem or not? To understand that, we were checking the data to see how much of the, let's say, traffic of conversions, traffic of a basket that has been created are actually coming from browsing through our categories, to see if it makes sense to solve this problem or not, because not all of the problem are worth to solve. So we dug into the data and we saw that, yes, we have a good share of traffic coming through our categories, and this is a problem that we might need to solve. So the problem was that one big chain, they had their own way of categorization. The other one, they had their own sets of categorization, and that was not consistent. And you as a customer, when you were going from A to B, you were confused. Oh, okay, where can I find milk? Where can I find this and that? So we start small, and we start to have a standardized way of categorization. But this way of categorization, we defined it in a way that it's not restrictive to push everybody to use the same exact structure, like 3 layers or 2 layers, or having fruits at the first stage, but not having it at the second stage, and so on. So we were creating a standardized framework, but giving them enough flexibility to be able to adjust it per market. Because as I said, from each market, from one market to another, we have different challenges. So we have to give them some flexibility, local challenges versus global challenges. And we started to test this with different businesses, from Dmart to big chains to some smaller local shops. And we found out that with every other test case that we were dealing with, we were having a positive impact. And that was the signal for us to scale more to other regions, other countries, and bring this global standardized experience to the other countries that we are operating in. That was one example. Another one, when we were talking about huge pile of information that coming from different vendors, we have to have a way to purify the titles. We have to purify the image. We have to purify the accuracy of the products or product integrity to see if it actually makes sense to do it or not. We are also doing some tests to see if a product with a better illustration like image, title, and so on is having a better conversion or not, or is it actually more desirable for customers or not. And we saw the impact, and we saw that, okay, this is something that works to solve. So we started to go for some solution and started validating some solutions to help us to improve the product information that we were intaking from different sets of vendors. And we should be vendor agnostic. We should never trust on the vendor's sides. We're saying that, hey, from this vendor, we are always getting good information. So we were always showing them online with no, let's say, checks. No, we have to check and purify each and every item that goes online in any of our application, in Pedidosia, in Glovo, in Foodora, in Talabat, in Food Panda, every other brand that we have, we are always using the same stack, and we are using the same platform to make sure that the product information that goes online are passing through a certain standardization and quality checks. So these things was the main challenges and some stories about how do we did product management, or how we are actually doing product management in quick commerce in Delivery Hero, and what is the spectrum and diversity of the problems that actually we are dealing with. And I think in some cases it might sound a bit scary, or it might sound a bit, let's say, unusual to deal with such a huge diversity and challenges at the same time. But to be honest, when you see the impact at the global scale, it's really fun. And that's something that makes this product management at Delivery Hero super fun. So with saying that, we are having some open roles at Delivery Hero in quick commerce and other teams in Delivery Hero, that we're looking for product managers that they are actually willing to accept those challenges and deal with those challenges day to day. As an example, in our affordability domain in quick commerce, we're looking for a principal product manager to start dealing and working with us closely in quick commerce to focus on our promotions, cards, and basically deal with our affordability topics. And by the way, before I move to another slide, feel free to scan this, feel free to take screenshots and apply. We are looking forward to see you guys. Also, we have another senior technical product manager role in our logistics. So again, as I mentioned, we have different personas, different customers to deal with, from our internal teams, riders, pickers, our customers, our partners. We have many personas to deal with. Millions of people are out there around the world that we are building products for them. So that's make it interesting and fun to be a product manager at Delivery Hero. So again, you can take a screenshot, feel free to apply, and hope to see you guys sometime later at Delivery Hero. And again, if you want to see other roles, feel free to check out our career page at careers.deliveryhero.com/jobs. So you will see the full list of jobs across our Delivery Hero brands, and feel free to apply. Any questions? And thanks for your attention.
Thank you so much, Avo, for such an interesting presentation. That was very insightful. I know I personally learned a lot from your session, and I wanted to thank everyone for joining us as well. We'll be jumping into the Q&A portion of our presentation today. Please feel free to go to the Slido and to put all your questions you might have and place it in the chat. I will give you some more time to type your questions. In the meantime, I also wanted to tell you a bit about product people while we wait for some questions to roll in. Okay, awesome. So let's talk about a few use cases we cover here at Product People, and ways in which you might find us to work with us. So we are we mainly specialize in interim and fractional support, whether as a product manager or a product leader. So a few use cases that this could cover is permanent position covers. So an example is if you're hiring and it often takes 3 to 9 months to fill a role, this is where we step in. Parental leave covers are also a super popular use case for us, where we jump in and we embed in the team, and we also allow to re-onboard when the employee comes back from their leave. as well as any important and urgent initiatives. It doesn't have to take anyone leaving or being away from a role for us to step in and accelerate the product delivery or discovery process. And we onboard super fast and make an impact just as fast as well. Another use case we tend to cover is coaching or coming in as an advisor or consultant. So we're here to coach your team and really boost their skills when it comes to their personal development plans, as well as create and optimize different processes and programs from 0 to 1. Whether it is in a hyper growth phase or just to bring it to scale. Another use case we tend to cover is product discovery. We are here to discover the next big thing alongside you and using the market and outlining different use cases and jobs to be done there, as well as running a low or no code pilot or MVP for an idea you're trying to get off the ground. So, a few of our B2C clients that we've worked with, some might be a bit familiar to you on the screen here. And then also some of our B2B clients that we've engaged with. As you can see, we've worked with a wide range of companies and industries all over the world and are constantly looking to sharpen our toolkit. And another thing I wanted to flag here, so our last but not least, is just a few stats about product people. We have been lucky to have worked across 690 plus cross functional teams with 100 clients in our roster, whether it's a Series A startup to publicly listed companies. We've worked through the range. We also have a very buzzing team of 40 product leaders and product managers in house to deliver high quality services and as well jump in with high impact. And we take strong pride in having 59% of women in the team, with 60% of those incredible women in our leadership. So that's just a bit about product people. Jumping right back into our Q&A, just wanting to see a few questions here for you, Abo, have jumped in for us. Is the first one is, how does the delivery hero product teams decide whether something is worth building internally versus outsourcing or partnering with third parties?
That's a good question. So, as we are operating in a variety of markets and in different countries, even our local teams or people who are having the application in their markets, like Talabat, like Glovo, like Petidosia, they are also having some solutions internally. They are having some solutions locally for their day-to-day platform. So it depends on if that solution is actually worth just building it for that specific brand, or is it something that one of our local teams require to have that, versus if that problem is something to solve at a global scale. If something is enabling many markets, and this is a problem that we should solve across many markets. Also, it's enabled many vendors. It enables us for many automations. If it enables us for many metrics, and actually it brings an outcome with the proper impact, we will go ahead and build it on a global scale internally.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you for your insight there. We have another question as well, switching gears a little bit. With quick commerce operating across so many different markets, how do you decide which product problems should be solved globally versus which ones need to be adapted for a more specific and local market?
Uh, I'm seeing this question is popping up also in other in the chat as well in another way. So to answer this question, we have to prioritize based on evidence. We have to find the actual problem based on the data, and we need to size it. We actually need to filter them not based on the loudest vendor or loudest partner or loudest voice in the room, which I know that this is a typical product management challenge. But you need to actually prioritize them based on the outcome and the impact that they are bringing and how many vendors, customers, markets it actually unblock or cover. And at the end, when we generalize it, like even if if that problem is not yet announced from few of the market, will it also be generalized and will also unblock future problem for some other markets that that hasn't yet mentioned this problem? So this is a way that we prioritize based on the actual outcome and coverage.
Yeah, I'm seeing that this is a popular question because someone also asked, how often do you deploy local solutions versus global solutions? Wondering if you wanted to add an additional 2 cents there.
So this is, I'm speaking from central solution and central teams, meaning that whatever we do, we are doing it globally. Like whatever solution that we are providing as a product managers in quick commerce, in central teams, we are providing a global solution. So our solutions are at a global scale, and we are aiming for whatever covers our most of our markets.
We also want to switch gears a little bit because there's an additional question, more on the side of AI.
Mhm.
What are areas where AI adoption has disappointed more than providing productivity?
Uh, do you mean disappointing product management managers or in general?
I think this person probably meant just maybe areas where AI was less effective, maybe disappointed you personally more than it was productive, definitely in a product management context.
I see. For sure, AI is not the magic. So you cannot expect like something happen with a click or so. So this is a tool that help you to do some heavy lifting and get overcome the busy work. It's not again, it's not the magic, and still you have to judge based on the result that AI is giving you. So still you have to do the due diligence and you have to understand the actual output of the AI versus what you are actually expecting. Yes, AI is hallucinating, and sometimes yes, it can absolutely disappoint you. But in some cases, it can help you to move you forward and unblock some of the blockers that you can overcome with using AI.
Yeah, I completely agree and have experienced similarly myself. I think we have time for one more question. Um, I wanted to ask, given the high pressure nature of quick commerce, how do you prevent sort of the speed at all costs mentality from compromising the long term product quality, or even retention?
So it comes from different challenges that I tried to mention earlier. We have many dependencies that you might not know them at the day zero when you are initiating something. So here at Delivery Hero, especially in quick commerce, we have a very good culture of like collaborating between product managers. So for example, if today I'm focusing on a topic that is related to our affordability domain, and my colleague who is very expert in his or her area of affordability, I will reach out to them and I explain the problem to them. to see if we have some dependencies or is there some blind spot that I might miss. So they can help me to clarify the problem space and the dependencies and to avoid any hiccups down the line. And we want to eliminate the aha moments down the line, like, oh, we missed this, we missed that. So when we are building something at a global scale, we check every possible scenarios of cross-affecting something versus something else to make sure that we are not negatively affecting anything. That's why we are very serious about our guardrails and health metric to make sure that we are always improving stuff, not negatively affecting anything.
Yeah. Thank you for your insight there. Um, this just in, we do have one last question, which is from your experience at Delivery Hero, what qualities do you think make someone really successful as a product manager there, especially someone with a strong technology and data background? And before you answer, I do want to point the asker of this question to our Product People blog. We do have an article that answers just this question. To search it up, the article title is A Conversation Between Product People and Delivery Hero, where we talk about what a product manager hiring actually looks like in strong detail. So this will definitely fill that gap for the person who asked this question. But Abo, to you as well, in case you wanted to add some 2 cents there.
For sure, that article could help you to go into the details, but if I just want to emphasize only in one point, let's focus on the problem and clear the space for your problem and actually bid on actually matters rather than just shipping things.
I couldn't have said it better myself. I just wanted to say thank you so much, Abo, for answering so thoughtfully. This wraps up our Q&A, and thank you for answering with such interesting responses, as well as driving a great discussion today. Before we wrap up for this evening, I did want to make a few more announcements, some two exciting ones here. We're hiring as well, so come work with us. You can apply just by scanning the QR code right there on the screen. Come join and make an impact alongside us. As well, we'd like to invite you to subscribe to our newsletter, where we share insights and our experiences in product management and beyond, where you can gain a bit of insight of how we've worked in our missions with our clients, um, and a bit more insight heard tonight. Before I let you go here. We host live streams like this every Tuesday. So, coming up next week, make sure you don't miss our next live stream where Thomas Mintoff will be talking about the topic of beyond product market fit. It's definitely bound to be an insightful one. Feel free to join us for a session full of great tips and tricks and insights, much like the session we had today. So, once again, I wanted to thank you so much. Thank you so much, Abo, for such a great talk that we had today. And thank you to our audience for joining us today. We hope to see many of you next time. And until that happens, until next time, bye and have a good evening.